So, certain circumstances have led up to the event of me making this video. This is the story about the one and only time that I have legitimately been like threatened to be sued by a client. So I'm a part of Bluegrass Realtors. We have an online private Facebook group where on there who's the best inspector, blah, 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 where we're also like talking about certain individuals to watch out for. So back in 2021, 22, I believe, I had some past clients that I love more than anything in the world who called me and were like, hey, we want to list and sell the house that you sold us here in Berea, Kentucky. Okay, perfect. We go ahead and list the house, and there was one day this agent calls me, and she had scheduled a showing, but the client was coming from out of state. It was like stormy and rainy. She wasn't going to be able to make it, so she was going to cancel it. Okay, cool, whatever. Well, not too long after the fact, I get a call from an out of state number from Tennessee, and I answer it, and it's this lady. We're going to refer to her as Penny Jackson. So Penny was like, hey, I've got my son in the car. We're on our way from Tennessee. It's been storming, yada, yada, yada. Like, can you get us into this house? Well, yeah, sure. So a couple hours later, Penny Jackson and her son arrive. We get out of the car. We go inside. We check out the property. She loves it. She wants to make an offer on it, but she needs to sell her home in Tennessee first. Okay, cool. We can do a kick-out clause, whatever. Well, Penny was doing her house for sale by owner. And so I went back and told my sellers, like, hey, Penny wants to buy the house. She's trying to do her house for sale by owner. If we do accept this offer, that's better than nothing. It'll have a kick out clause in it, which means that, unless Penny's house is under contract, if we get another offer, she has X amount of time before we can kick her out. Cool. Things were great. Penny was going to buy this house that she fell in love with. And so we go on and we go on. Penny finally has enough sense to hire a real estate agent in Tennessee, and Penny gets her home on the market. Great. Not too long after that, Penny's home in Tennessee goes under contract. Cool. Great. She gets with like some kind of family member. I want to say that she called this individual her aunt, but it wasn't actually her aunt. And she and the aunt called me at one point talking about sending the earnest money. They were at the post office or something weird like that. And so they sent the earnest money. I turned it into my office. We put it into the escrow account. Well, Penny ghosts me for a while. Like, Penny gets real quiet, right? Penny had this really weird thing about calling people shady. Whenever Penny originally came to buy this house, she was referring to the agent that was going to show it to her shady because she backed out or whatever. And again, I feel like that agent was like going out of town for like an anniversary dinner or something like that. Well, then Penny finally calls me back after she's kind of like unresponsive for a while. And she tells me that she canceled the contract on her home sale. Like, she had her house under contract and she canceled the sale of it, which I was like, why, Penny? Well, the buyer and the agent were being shady. And I was like, Penny, what do you mean shady? She goes to tell me that the agent and the buyer of her home in Tennessee were friends, and that buyer was like an investor or something weird, and the title company that they wanted to work with was being shady, and something about, I don't know, it was just like a weird like situation. And at this point I'm like, I think that Penny's crazy. Whatever. So I tell her, I'm like, well, now that your house is not under contract anymore, like, I have to put mine back on the market. And, if someone comes and like does all this, like, you willingly canceled your contract, like the earnest money, I think it was like $1,200 will probably go to my sellers because you willingly, screwed this up. To which, honey, she was mad, but whatever. We went on about our day. Well, my sellers were like, hey, it's okay. Like, we'll leave it pending. It was like November, December-ish at this time. They said that if they didn't get a contract on it, that they would just take it off for the winter because they didn't want to sell and move in the winter. And so, long story short, Penny does not get her home back under contract. And come to find out, my sellers, who are phenomenal, was like, hey, like, we understand times are hard or whatever. Although we are definitely, because they were, entitled to all of her $1,200 earnest money. They were like, we'll give her half of it back. Like, we just feel like that's the right thing to do, which Penny should have been grateful, but Penny was being crazy. Honey, when I tell you, I told Penny that they were willing to give her half of it back, she went absolutely a crap crazy on me, started texting me, and we both have iPhones. And it got to the point where her messages were so long that I had to click on them and they would open up. She was threatening to sue me. She told me that she felt bad for my children. Penny told me that I had a demon or a devil inside of me. I don't remember. Well, what happens when people can't agree on who gets the earnest money is that you have to have your broker send a certified letter to both parties, my sellers and Penny. And again, like when you get certified mail, they have to, sign saying, hey, I got it. Penny never even like sent her response back. So my sellers ended up getting the whole 1,200 when Penny could have got half of that back. Well, then in the midst of all of this, Penny is like pretending that she's texting a lawyer about me. And so she would be like, yeah, Devin's crazy and she's doing this and this and this and this. And then she would send it to me. And I'm like, Penny, you really need help. And so like my bottom line whenever I stopped responding to Penny was whenever she brought my kids into it. And so what I did was I Google searched like the crisis helpline number and I sent it to Penny, which made her really mad. I can't remember what she said to me. Well, then after that, she said something else to which I Google searched her local area for like the local loony bin and I sent it to her and I was like, Penny, I really think that you need some help. She ends up texting my broker, Amanda, which if you know Amanda Markham, you know that like if I'm in the wrong, she's going to tell me I'm in the wrong. But if I'm in the right, which I always am, even when I'm wrong, Amanda Markham is going to have my back as well as all of her other agents' back. And when I tell you that she was sending my broker like screenshots and recordings of my social media, which was literally just the normal everyday goofy stuff that I post. And she was like blowing Amanda up over it, my broker. So Penny now has a home. She had it listed for sale by owner here in Berea, Kentucky. But again, she tried that out and it didn't work out too well for her. And now she has it listed with a real estate agent. When I tell you, God bless the real estate agent that Penny Jackson has hired to sell her home, I mean it because my thoughts and prayers are with her. But yeah, that is the one and only time I have legitimately been threatened to be sued. And this is why real estate agents always, especially me, are going to keep our receipts. We're going to keep our emails. We're going to keep our text messages. And you better believe that I'm going to keep every single screenshot because people like Penny are the reason that I'm as crazy as I am. And I do not regret it one bit. I forgot to add in one of the best parts. After all of this is said and done with Penny, I get to stewing on it because that's what I do. I'm crazy and I'm not just going to, let something die like that. I went back and looked at the contract that she sent me from her, sale in Tennessee that she was supposed to be having. And I got that agent's number that had her home listed. And I ended up calling him. And when I tell you, I don't remember his name. I'm just going to call him Bob. I called Bob and I was like, hey, Bob, this is Devin. Like, I'm up here in Kentucky. You may not even know who I am. We share a mutual client. And here's what happened. And I was just calling to see, what really happened. When I tell you that Bob, just as dead serious can be, was like, Devin, the next time that you hear the name Penny Jackson, he was like, I need you to run because she is beep, 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 crazy. So I just feel like calling Bob really like reiterated and made me feel better about like my decision to send her the mental health crisis hotline and also the Nashville, Tennessee loony bin number because I had a gut feeling that everything that she was saying was like either not true or was just like misinformed and blown up to this big situation that it wasn't. And like always, it came to be that I was right.